Are you aware that getting started and staying started are not the same thing? I contemplate what it would be like if I went to the auto dealer that cares for my car, my vehicle. I of course still have a black Mercedes that Monavi acquired for me when I became a black diamond. And I wonder what I would feel like if I went to the Mercedes dealership with a problem and they opened up a workbook. When we went through your initial 10 steps to help you get started correctly, when you've helped others get started correctly, we used a workbook that's entirely appropriate for someone just beginning. But I think that if I went to the Mercedes dealer and they pulled out a workbook, my enthusiasm would be low. What they pull out instead is a service manual. And what's the design and thought of that service manual? It's to identify the problem and then point to a solution. Such is the exact same agenda that I have in creating the staying started components of this overall MVP package, the staying started manual. Very simply is to recognize that getting started and staying started are not the same thing, to be candidly aware that there will come times when we run into the wall. That's the truth. That's the way that it is. As I initially prepared this material, I thought of 2 or 3 different applications. There is, of course, the possibility that one goes through those initial 10 steps to get started correctly in his or her mind's eye, in your mind's eye, consider that you've done them correctly and yet never really broke tracks. That's certainly possible. One application then of the staying started manual would be to have a new, fresh, differing view of those getting started steps. More frequently, however, is the following outcome. If one follows those getting started steps correctly, it's highly unusual and unlikely for one to not have some measure of success. But there does come a time where our initial success will flatten. Some people race through. Some people, you'll meet people who get involved and bang, they go to a gold executive. It's seemingly overnight. You say, well, how did that happen if it wasn't your experience? You'll meet some who seem to race straight through to Ruby. You'll meet some who seem to have raced even further than that in the compensation plan. Remember when you meet someone who started so quickly that they are again benefiting from one of those fundamentals that I find so precious, which make our industry superior to that of conventional business. They're getting paid again for some past success. That's what that's all about. Maybe you started quickly. Maybe you got paid from some past success. Maybe that low-hanging fruit that you were able to harvest from the tree was powerful and you grew quickly to a gold executive status or beyond. And suddenly your business stopped growing and it started getting smaller. Is that possible? Absolutely. I've lived that and experienced it myself. Maybe you went all the way to diamond and today you're getting paid at silver executive. Is that possible? Absolutely, that's possible. With me, what you get is a heavy dose of the truth, common reality. Getting started and staying started are not the same thing. Having a business that gets big for a season doesn't promise or assure you you've got a business that is big and will stay that way forever. There will be not just one, but multiple times over the course of our development of the business where for whatever reason our growth stagnates or our growth turns into the opposite thereof. And for those very moments in time was the Staying Started Manual created. And so as we begin, I would simply tell you, if you find yourself at a moment of impasse, welcome to the club. You've just joined everybody else. Everybody has that moment of impasse. Some are willing to share with you those moments of travail, and others put on the happy face and pretend that it's always been easy. But as one who's been at this for a long, long time, I will tell you that if you find yourself at a moment of impasse, then you are in good company because everyone else has similarly found themselves at a point of impasse, most frequently multiple points of impasse as we continue to grow and develop, as we continue to refine our skill development, those 4 simple skills. What are they? Learning how to create and maintain a candidate list that stays in front of us, learning how to invite so the candidate gets to see the business, having learned how to invite, having some way that is eminently replicatable to present the business, and then being able to get new members started correctly in an institutionalized way. And that is specifically and exactly what the Getting Started material is. But now we must stay started. And so we revisit the steps 1 through 10.